Hey guys, welcome to our vlog. So we spent about 12 days in New Zealand, both the South and North Island side. And this is the first time any of us has been to New Zealand, so we decided to make full use of our trip. And to make sure that we saw everything, we started off at Christchurch and stayed for a night just because we wanted to rest a little after traveling such a long distance. Our accommodation in Christchurch was a townhouse which had 3 stories. It was really spacious, but the long flight of stairs at the very first level nearly killed us because we had to bring up all our luggages. So thank God for the guys. We took a leisurely walk after resting for a bit and ended up at the Botanic Gardens, which was really beautiful, but also really cold. So we decided to head over to 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃𝗵𝗃 for an early dinner so that we can head back and rest before the next day. We were up early on our second day because we had to drive 3 hours towards Lake Tekapo, and we decided to have a full and good breakfast before we head off on our journey. So we had breakfast over at Unknown Chapter, and each of us tried to have a meal of our own, even though it's usually a little too much for each of us to eat. But we didn't want to get hungry along the way, so this was a really good meal and a good start to our day. We grabbed some bakes and pastries just in case we get hungry along the way, and boy, will we spot for choice. So after driving for about an hour, we stopped at Farm Barn Cafe for a quick toilet break and to get some food and drinks before we continued our journey. We had their seafood chowder, which was perfect for the cold weather outside and definitely kept us full before we continued our long drive ahead. So after another hour or so of driving, we arrived at our next accommodation, which was a huge apartment with a really good view. Since it's nearing winter, the sun only sets around 8 PM, which gave us a lot of time to go and walk around and take a look at Lake Tekapo from a higher point of view at the peninsula walkway. We grabbed dinner over at the 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃𝗵𝗃, which according to Google reviews had the best fish and chips in the area, so of course we couldn't miss it. We over-ordered, but everything looked so good, so you really can't blame us. We had some fish and chips, we had some mushrooms, and also their squid legs. Fish and chips were really good, the fish was really tender, the batter was really crisp, and it's really something that you shouldn't miss when you come over to Lake Tekapo. third day, we were supposed to head up to Mount Cook to do the 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃 trek, but unfortunately there was an issue with the brakes of our car, and the car rental company said that they were not able to send another vehicle down until the very next day. So we had to change our plans entirely. We were a little bummed about that, but we decided to make full use of our day and just enjoy the area around the lake as much as we can. We had really good weather on that day. The skies cleared up. It was a little gloomy the day before, but on that day the weather was nice, sunny, and just the perfect time to explore the area. Isn't it amazing that the best plans are the ones you don't make at all? We had so much fun just skipping rocks and enjoying the afternoon together, doing something so simple yet so fun, and enjoying each other's company despite the little hiccup in our plans. And isn't that what life is all about? Making the best out of every situation and not forgetting to enjoy yourself in the process. We enjoyed some wood-fired pizzas for lunch. We got 2 flavors. I can't remember the names of them anymore. Wish they had a little more ingredients, but the dough was really good and the crust was a little chewy, which is just how we like it. Dinner was over at 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃 again, simply because we couldn't get enough of their fish and chips. We had an early dinner because later that night we had to head off to the Dark Sky Reserve for the summit experience that we signed up for at the very last minute. So initially, there were no slots left for the English tour at around 11 PM, but upon checking with the Dark Sky project team themselves, we found out there were slots for the Mandarin tour, so we quickly snagged them at the very last minute. So this was truly a good way to end the day, because if we had gone up to Mount Cook like we originally planned, we wouldn't have been able to find out that there were tickets left for the summit experience, and we wouldn't have been able to stargaze like we did that night. So it was truly a blessing in many ways. On day 4, we left the Lake Tekapo area and headed towards Wanaka before ending up at Queenstown. So along the way, we stopped at 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃 for some coffee and some drinks before our long drive ahead towards Wanaka. reached the Wanaka lavender farm pretty late in the afternoon, so we had to quickly enter and explore the area before it closes over at 5 p.m. So we bought some snacks and tried their lavender macarons, which was really good by the way, and headed into the farm to explore the place. There were farm animals around as well, and there was this little miniature pony that just kept asking for grass because, as you can see, it completely finished the grass on its side. So we just plucked grass from the other side and fed it. It was so cute because after every bite, it would just request for more in this cute action, which really kept us there for a long time. We drove for about an hour before we reached Queenstown and checked into our lovely apartment that had really huge kitchen, living space and rooms as well. And best of all, it comes with a really good view. We were craving pasta, so we went over to 𝘄𝗵𝘁𝗃𝗍, which had mixed reviews, but we were too hungry and we decided to settle for this place as it seemed pretty packed with locals. But sadly, the food wasn't up to our expectations. It was a little too salty for some and a little tasteless for the others, so I really wouldn't recommend this place at all. So after a long day, we unwinded with some white wine that the accommodation gave and just spent our time relaxing and enjoying our time in the apartment before the very next day. We had breakfast over at the 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃 cafe, and we didn't have any reservations, so we couldn't sit outdoors, but that was totally fine with us. We waited a while for the seats and the food took a little longer than expected to come, but it was totally worth it because everything was delicious. So if you're coming here on a weekend, do make reservations, don't be like us. We drove 45 minutes up to Glenorchy for their Glenorchy animal experience. There were a lot of animals around and you could feed most of them during your time there. We certainly had a lot of fun feeding the animals along the way, and some of them were a little bit more greedy than the others, as you can see. We enjoyed our time here being surrounded by all these farm animals such as these alpacas and Daisy the cow and so many other animals that you could hand feed along the way. This sheep and chicken duo seem to have imprinted themselves onto LT. As you can see, they are following him around, everywhere he goes. And if you're wondering why the chicken is constantly around the sheep, it's because the moment you drop any pellet, it swoops in and eats it right away. So now you know why. So after eating out for the past few days, we decided to cook for the family, and we made some minestrone, which was really hearty and something warm that really comforted our bellies since it was getting quite cold at night. For our time in Milford Sound, we decided to go with a smaller cruise, simply because the number of people on board is much lesser compared to those bigger cruises, and they go further and nearer to places like the waterfall and the seals that are on the rocks, so that you can take a look and enjoy all these up close and personal. The weather was a little gloomy from the day before because it had been raining, but I was really excited that it rained because that just means that the waterfalls would be that much more majestic. At this point, we were preparing ourselves for the biggest waterfall that the cruise was approaching. We were told that if we wanted to leave, we should leave ASAP because it was going to get really wet. And it turned out to be a really fun experience, even though we got so drenched and everyone was laughing at us from the inside. While the rest of the family was enjoying a slower start to their morning, my mum, LT and I went to grab breakfast over at the Milford Road Merchant. This was just a few minutes away from our accommodation, and we had 2 pies for breakfast, and my mum had their hot cross bun since it was Easter. She enjoyed the hot cross bun a lot, and we enjoyed the pies too. We had the chicken pie and the pork belly pie, and oh my god, both were excellent. The pork belly was really delicious and well marinated, and so was the chicken pie. My only regret was not trying this place earlier because it was that good. So if you're ever in the area, please give it a try. It was our very last day over in the South Island, so we decided to spend some time in Queenstown and to try something adventurous, and in this case it was ziplining. My sisters and I have been ziplining before, so this wasn't something too scary for us. But for my mom, it's a completely new experience, so we decided to not scare her too much and just go for the 4 zipline course, while my sisters went on to do the 6 zipline course instead. So off they went first, followed by the rest of us. As you can tell, my mom is quite scared, but she really mastered up her courage, and this is her going for the first zipline. So I'm really proud of all that she did, and even though it scared her, she didn't let it hold her back, and she just really went for it. It was truly an amazing experience, especially the last zipline with such an amazing view, as you can see. Truly amazing, and I'm glad we did it as a family. Queenstown is truly a beautiful place to be in, and I'm sad we didn't get more time to spend here. And for our last dinner in Queenstown, we decided on ramen because the weather was really cold and we just wanted something hot. This was not too bad, a little salty for our liking, but at least it kept us feeling very warm and satisfied. The queue for 𝗃𝗵𝗃𝗃𝗃 was insane, as you'll see towards the end of this clip, so yeah, maybe next time. On the morning that we flew out of Queenstown, it was the coldest day yet, and it actually hailed as we were leaving to go to the airport. So our flight ended up being delayed for a bit, and when we finally took off, we were so tired and just so ready to reach Wellington. I don't know about you, but every time I don't know what to eat, I will always crave Thai food, so we came for Thai food. And over at this eatery, you could actually get the food to be spicy, and it was really spicy, as you can tell. There are different levels of spiciness apparently, so it could be normal spicy or Thai spicy, and I'm so glad we didn't go for Thai spicy because normal spicy was insane. But definitely the spiciest and the best food that we've had in a long time. So after lunch, we went shopping a little and explored some New Zealand brands before heading to grocery shop to get all our supplies for the next few days, because we were headed to Martin, which was a little bit secluded as we were staying on a farm for 2 nights. By the time we arrived, it was close to sunset, so we decided to quickly head in before it gets dark. And this was an interesting experience because we actually get to live and be super close to the working farm, which consists mainly of sheep and cows. Dinner was a quick and easy one. We got some rotisserie chicken, wrapped some veggies, so that we could put dinner together really quick and call it a night early. Actually had plans to head towards Mount Taranaki on this day, but I think my family was too tired and didn't want to have to drive all the way there and back and waste the day, so we decided to head towards Windermere Berry Farm instead after a quick Google search the night before, and that's how we ended up with having strawberry pancakes for breakfast. and it was totally divine. It's one of the best pancakes we've had, and everyone enjoyed it and wiped their plates clean, I kid you not. There are 2 alpacas on the farm as well, Nugget and Mars. They must be the luckiest alpacas ever because their treats are strawberries. Can you believe it? And as if we didn't have enough strawberries, we decided to have some strawberry ice cream. And this is not even the adult size that they offer. This is the kid size, and they are so generous with the ice cream. It tastes so good, natural, and delicious. The rest of our afternoon exploring the gardens, taking a look at the flowers, and enjoying our slow time, just having no concrete plans and just exploring wherever we want to, whenever we want to. Back home, we finally saw the cows that were on the farm, and also ended up scaring the sheep that were really afraid of us. They ran at the speed of light the moment we came close, and as you can see, they run really fast. We had some homemade pizzas for dinner and called it a night early again because we were leaving the farm really early the next morning. We had to get up really early, even before the sun rose, and leave the farmstay because we would be driving 4.5 hours to our next destination over in Mata-Mata. So we were here for the Hobbiton tours, and by the time we arrived, it was close to lunch already, and we quickly made our way to the cafe to grab some lunch before our tour later that day. So we actually booked our tickets online at Get Your Guide, but the slot that we wanted was not available, so we had to go for later slots. And what we discovered over here is that there are usually quite a bit of empty slots per tour. So if you wanted to join an earlier tour, you can still come by earlier and look out for the announcements to see if there's any slots that you can join and move your tour up to an earlier time slot. The tour around Hobbiton was truly an amazing and magical experience. The amount of detail, time, and effort put into these sets really is truly amazing, and when you actually get to see everything up close, you will be blown away. It's like they have created a whole new world in the existing world that we have, and it's so amazing to see that such a landscape exists, not only in the world but in Australia itself. So after we were done with the Hobbiton tour, we checked into our accommodations in Hamilton, and then we went for dinner over at this Chinese restaurant. We had some noodles, dumplings, and then we explored the area a little before it got dark and rested before the next day. Since we were staying in the central area of Hamilton, most cafes were closed as it was a Sunday, except for this one. So we settled for breakfast over here, grabbed some coffee before our long drive ahead towards Auckland, where we'll be spending our last full day before flying back the next day. We drove into the city and had lunch over at 𝘂𝗵𝗁, which is, as the name suggests, a katsudon place. I remember we were starving at this point, but I don't think it was the hunger that made the food taste good, because it was really exceptional. I was actually feeling a little sick at this point because I caught like a flu bug or something along the way, but I do remember that the food tasted so good, and everyone agreed as well. So definitely try out 𝘂𝗵𝗁 when you're in the area. And after that, we grabbed some ice cream over at Duck Island Creamery, followed by some quick shopping around the area. We saw a huge queue over at 𝘃𝗵𝗁𝗃 earlier, so we couldn't resist bringing some desserts back as well. And our final trip to the grocery store, we had to pick up more of these chocolates. They were so good. It has popping candy inside, guys. You really need to try it out. So if you've reached the last day of our vlog, congratulations and thank you for watching so far. It has been an amazing 12 days with my family, and I wanted to document every single day because it was so beautiful to us and we enjoyed New Zealand so much together as a family. It was our first time in New Zealand and definitely not our last. We were greeted with this beautiful sunrise on our very last morning before we all flew off to Singapore and Brisbane respectively, and we really couldn't have asked for better weather. So thank you guys for watching, it really means a lot to us, and if you have any questions or if you like the new format of voiceovers, please leave a comment, and if not, we'll see you in the next video.